Oh, am I? I was just, connecting with you. I wasn't trying to be a leader.
She say up and only up.
I think my socks last time we did. I remember that. Let me know when we hot.
I brought my heels, but I'm not going to stand in them.
Blessings. So we here 2023 Madison Nonprofit Day. I'm standing here with Dr. Sagacious Levingston. Please tell the people about yourself a little bit more than I probably already have, and plenty other mediums where we've been working together. But for those who may be laying eyes on you for the first time, give us a rundown of who is Dr. Sagacious.
All right, so my name is Dr. Sagacious Levingston. I'm the founder and CEO of Infamous Mothers, and we do a lot of work around helping women build their mothering practices while also accomplishing their impossible dreams. With that said, we've published Infamous Mothers, the Coffee Table book, and Covet, the Disrespectful Health and Wellness Journal, and we have an upcoming memoir about, I will not tell you what it's about, but we have an upcoming memoir. I'll leave it at that.
Love. So why is it important to put those type of products and services around you and what you do?
I think a lot of times when you are a keynote speaker or your job is to coach or motivate or educate, the women that we serve, we're able to, the impact goes deeper when they have the resources to follow through, right? So it's one thing to have your hour session or your 90-minute session. It's another thing to give them their homework, but it's another thing when they have a tangible piece that they can hold on to, read, journal, get more information, more inspiration, et cetera, et cetera. I really believe that the follow-through has to be in the curriculum that you develop and the items that you offer to complement what the coaching experience.
Wow. So, Doctor, when you speak, it's coming from like a pulled deep type of, passion, right? So, like, as a keynote speaker, because every time I'm around in these spaces, a conference, and you there, you're not just an attendee. Like, you got a heavyweight title, like keynote speaker. So, like, what does that mean to be the keynote speaker at Madison Nonprofit Day?
Wow. I think for me, when Alnisa calls, it's important for me to come running.
Oh, yeah.
Alnisa's a quiet, behind-the-scenes force that has been responsible for catapulting so many people's businesses and ventures and ideas. And in this particular context, the idea of serving the mission of Nonprofit Day, knowing the heart behind the mission, Alnisa and her good intentions, as well as all of the organizations that come here that need their cups filled and that are doing good work. My goal and my job always is, how can I inspire? How can I give a little bit of information? And how can I have people, what can I give to make people walk away feeling as if they've had something a little bit more than what they came in with?
It is Nonprofit Day. What is your message to like the black business, black nonprofit sector and, organizations here in Madison? Like, what is our message to each other 2023?
I think often we are really good at being clear that we have to have a great product or service. We're often clear that we have to surround ourselves with good people. But I think the piece that's often missing from our business model or our experience as business owners or leaders is processes. People plus processes plus product equal profit or equals impact. So always be on top of your point. You're on top of your business when it comes to processes. But you asked me a question about Alnisa.
Yeah, I got two more questions.
Okay.
Or share with us your Alnisa story.
So this is when I knew the power of Alnisa. In 2017, Alnisa sent out one tweet, and she said she wants to see Michael Ford and Sagacious give a TED Talk. And I don't think it was 24 hours later, I got a call from the people organizing the TED Talk and invited me to speak. And at that moment, and I don't even think I fully understood who Alnisa was prior to that. Like, I don't think I understood what she did, or I just knew she was a nice person. But at that moment, I said, oh, she sent out a tweet, and I got a phone call. Mm-hmm. Yeah, our niece is that person. So,
Heavy and legendary.
Yes.
For sure. Okay, I got the question too.
Yes.
All right, so like with all the books, the memoirs, the busyness, the overbook, like what are some of the ways that, or mediums that you use to get the word out about what you got going on, your business, your brand, and everything? How do you get the word out about that?
So our social media strategy is insane. We are committed to posting at least one piece a day. When we are on top of things, one reel a day, so a post, a reel. Our engagement strategy is sick. Like I have a campaign over the next 5 months to touch 10,000 women that I've never met before through social media, right? So we are very intentional about connecting, very intentional about dropping information, and we have to because we're an online company. And so if we don't have a strong presence online, then we're not doing our jobs.
That's a fact. Yeah. So like, how are you adding value based off of the things that you would offer someone else?
Yes. So right now we're in covet season, and covet season focuses on women becoming the version of themselves that they thought was impossible.
Wow.
So it's the season where we are becoming the version of ourselves that we yearn for, the version of ourselves that we thought was out of reach, and everything that we're doing in covet season is about helping women accomplish that goal. So whether it's the content we're dropping on social media, it's the newsletter we're dropping every Thursday called Wanted, it's our blog post that drops every Tuesday morning. Everything that we're doing is about becoming that best version of yourself, and it's built around, the season is built around our covet, the Disrespectful Health and Wellness Journal, as well as our covet retreats that you can find online at Infamous Mothers University. Our next retreat is this month. I don't have the exact date, but you can find it at Infamous Mothers University.
Okay.
And then we have a slew of content and workshops and classes coming in 2024 as we finish our cover season and enter into the next season, which is called Naked.
Love. I hear you say we a lot. So this is the moment where you can shout out some of those we's. Like, who is your shout out moments that you want to shout out?
So I have a team of folks that I contract with. One of them is my business coach, Joe from Weaponized Coaching. Another one is Jade from Jade Consulting. She handles all of our automations. We have a social media person that's on deck with us. Her name is Leanne. And then we have my favorite intern, which is my daughter, Brooklyn, who's been working with us to create content, and she helps set up things, and it's just extraordinary. So yeah, that is our team.
Love, love, love. Anything in closing?
I just want to say thank you to you, because when you show up, I know quality content is going to come from this.
Come on.
I know that you do not play when it comes to excellence, and I know that every encounter I've had with you has somehow been connected with uplifting women and people of color.
Yeah.
And to have a black man in those spaces,
Yeah.
we can't sleep on that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I needed that. What was the title and what did you get out of it?
Oh, the title was Coloring Outside the Lines, Building with Black and Latino Communities. And what I took out of it was that a lot of us are exhausted.
And we're just kind of saying, like, if we see organizations like on a flyer and we know that they're not part of the actual like community that are working with Black and brown people, we would be, well, I would be skeptical of that.
We are tired of being tokenized. We're tired of being unappreciated, underpaid.
I think where a lot of people go wrong too is that they feel as though they want to help or they want to do something without even talking to the people that you want to.
The ones that have their hands tied behind their backs because of budgets or leadership, they utilize our workshop for strategies.
We won't say infiltration, we won't say tokenism. We utilize the fact of being genuine and pure to make an honest introduction to like what may be overlooked in spaces where we coexist, which is nightlife, daytime, just in events like this. Like, what does it look like to have somebody of an artistic background come here and speak on behalf of a voice that's voiceless?
How to go around that thing. The people who have their arms crossed, though, are not allowing that love to come through. There are going to be definitely allies in our community in the state of Wisconsin that will continuously have their arms crossed, but don't allow your hands to be tied behind your back. There are so many ways, and we talked about all those creative ways to engage your leadership, to get buy-in, to make us part of your budgets, to do reciprocity, and reciprocity from a community standpoint, not to...
It should be affirmative action. We should be able to address and assert ourselves based off of skills and talent and knowing your worth. Language can be a barrier, right? So when we use like certain jargons, terminology, it's almost unattractive to the people that we really need to reach and who we really need inside the room. So that's one of the things that I learned, and I was really learning that through the attendees.
I think that we never think about how dangerous it is to put Black folks in spaces that they're not truly welcomed. And so the follow-up, like I've played the game for 20 years in Madison. And a lot of times now that I'm older, I'm always like, when I wake up the next day, I'm like, I'm hurt, I'm stressed, I was like targeted, the homophobia was real, it was so many racist people there, and this stakeholder goes on with their agendas and lives, and they should start actually coming back saying, how did you feel? And the debrief, it should be, what was your experience? And so I think that once we start sharing that, stakeholders will be at the planning table a little bit more strategic about how they approach us, because it's not safe to put folks in situations that is going to be more harmful.
The people that was in there, from what we were saying up front, they was like receiving this and then like sharing what they thought of it. So like we had a crazy engaging audience. Like, I thank you again for just giving me the invite to come here and share your space, you know what I mean? But just like, you know Arnisa personally, right? Madison Nonprofit Day, just putting this together, probably 15 plus some years, right? So like, what's Arnisa's story, or like what's the experience that you can share with us that you shared with Arnisa?
Yeah, I mean, it was Collab for Good. The great thing about Alnisa, and I think she also reflects what we all are, who we are too as people of color in the community, is that we become great connectors, right? And I think she brought all these connections. She brings over these connections so that they can flourish and they can grow on their own. But just finding that connection for people and collaborating for social good, social enterprise, and empowering those of us individually to do it. Like we just talked about how you can do this in a very simple way by one of the activities was having you identify 3 stakeholders in your neighborhood. And that was an eye-opener of like, how do we strategically think about these stakeholders in our community that oftentimes it seems like they ignore us.
I would say stakeholders are the individuals, again, that has either interest in what you got going on, or that can be impacted by the things that you do now that you guys are in collaboration. So what I was looking at is like in Madison, Wisconsin, as far as like, you know, Black organizations that's heavy or considered resourceful, those individuals or organizations has figured out a way to sustain a lifestyle, which is a 2-part, right? It's a clap, it's a celebration, and then you become food. People are like, okay, you figured it out, so now you got to come back to help me, or I'm a bomb on your organization. I don't think that's the way to do it. I just think it's important for us to realize and highlight, okay, like, who's had success here that look like me, and how can I add value to what they got going on, right? So as Let's Work, we do target organizations, businesses, artists, nonprofits, but as you can see, it's not for nothing. The economic impact of Wisconsin's nonprofit sector employs over 250,000 people. So that's over 12% of the state's workforce. So we're not wrong to want to partner together. It's just more about like, what is the proposals limiting us from being able to get those yeses, right? So it's more about understanding it's individuals like us that represent a greater impact, a greater community of Madison that look like us, that we don't have access because we don't have certain titles. We don't have certain things behind our LLCs, or we're not nonprofit spaces. So it's not foreign for us to want to collaborate with the individuals that got access, but we looking at it from like, we're going to do it from this side, you're going to operate from within, but we all got the same mission in the end. So it's understanding that how can I do my work, progress my mission, but also look towards the left, look towards the right, back, forward, wherever we are, an opportunity to be able to collaborate. I don't think that's limited towards a title.
2.7 billion to charities each year, representing 2.5.2 of our household. Think about that. That's huge. That's huge. And yet Black and Latino-led organizations that are founded by Black and Latinos are oftentimes the same wage gap that you see in private sector, that spills over in nonprofit sector. Latino-led nonprofit organizations are not funded at the same rate as white-led organizations, even when they are serving the same population. I see a lot of heads nodding because I know that you all know, you work very closely with your EDs and you hear about this all the time. And at times they even want to pin Latino communities against Black communities with giving out grants, instead of there being a middle ground. And I'm taking a stand. And oftentimes I'm the one hearing about it for both my sides of my community. And I'm most of the time wanting to see how can we work together still though? How can we impact the grant that did come and was awarded? Can we still invoke, can we still collaborate with communities that might have felt left out? And that's type of thought process that takes a lot of time to come together, given how often we are put against each other.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort, and we're internally working at that. And how can allies help us?
Sure.
How can allies help us? I think by one, mentoring, two, advocating, and sponsoring our names when we're not in the room.
For sure.
I have gone to so many Black women-led conferences, and that is something we can all scream. I don't know, I've just been to so many of these conferences, and they just scream it out loud, and it is so true. You've got to mention our names when we're not in the room, because if you can't do that part, I'm telling you, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Out of sight, out of mind. We just told you about like 3 or 4 different places that you might not even know where they are here in Madison, and you've driven by them every day.
Right? It seems like they ignore us, like we're not seen as money grabbing people or something like that, but it's like, no, there are so many ways that the things that you complain about guns in our community, you complain about us having 20 babies or whatever it is, immigration, legalization, all of that it seems like the major community complains about. All of those solutions are within us individually.
For sure.
Yeah.
No doubt. So, expectation for this event next year. Like, what are you looking forward to for this event next year?
I would say this event in particular, I feel like out of all of the ones that we've done with Nonprofit Day, what I saw here was more Black folks taking leadership roles in this organizing in nonprofit industry. That is so important. It is so important.
That's the same thing Anissa said.
That's the
same thing she said.
It's the first time we've ever seen that. And there's a lot of Latinos also doing nonprofit work, and they were appearing today here.
Come on.
And one side by one side of each other, and breaking down the barriers that have kept us separated for so long.
Okay. Quiz, pop quiz. You ready?
Yes.
What does this event, Madison Nonprofit Day, has in common with Yo Quiero Dinero?
Oh my gosh. Wow. We have brought over the numbers. What'd you say? $2.7 billion from Wisconsinites households are being donated to different organizations. Yo quiero dinero. We want the money. We want to close those wage gaps because it's perpetuated in the philanthropy field as well. We are not funded at the same rate as white leading organizations. Heck, you could even say my consulting has been part of showing white leaders in nonprofit world how to properly engage with the very communities that they want to end poverty for, that they want to help the youth for. They want more public audience for, say, their libraries or their theater or public spaces. Not theirs, it's ours.
Yeah. Okay. So look, for the terms of the quiz, I'm gonna give you partial credit.
Okay,
because you had a keynote speaker.
Yes.
That was also a keynote speaker here.
That was also, Dr. Sagacious.
Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out Dr. Sagacious, for sure.
Shout out Dr. Sagacious. And even coloring outside the lines was actually coined by Kiana Holmes.
See?
Who's also part of Yo Quiero Dinero and couldn't come to my breakout, and she was going to co-facilitate.
Yeah, for sure.
So we were like,
Look at God.
Thank you, Kiana.
That's a big fact. So, just takeaways, in closing, what's your message to the nonprofit sector community in Madison? Like, what's something that you want to get out to them?
It's not that hard. Make it uncomplicated. Make it easier for us to work with you, collaborate with you. We know the solutions for our community. We know it. We know it because we lived it.
Love, thank you so much. Let's get it. No, just leave it right there. I just love talking. Just leave it right there. I love talking. Oh, look at y'all. Y'all think y'all slick. I see what y'all doing. See, like I'm here. I might as well get the leaderboard. Yeah.
Take a picture and post it in the WOVA app.
Yeah, I see.
Now, how did y'all get your files on there? Did you have to send them to community campus?
What files?
Your
Presentation? All right, so we back here at Madison Nonprofit Day 2023, October 31st. I just want you to take some time, introduce yourself, tell the people what you do and why you're here today.
My name is Ashley Mosberry. I am the owner and founder of Alchemy Brand, and I bring people together to have a good time, to look good, to feel good, and I'm just an overall, happy person that enjoys life, and I want people to do the same.
How'd you get the invite to be here today?
Well, I know Alnisa.
Okay.
I went through the SGA cohort, and she invited me to pretty much set up a display and just let people enjoy it.
Be great. So what's your Alnisa story? You say you know her. What's our Alnisa story you got?
Yes. So Afra Smith told me to apply for this random program. I had no clue what it was. And I was like, okay, I'm going to apply. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm going to apply. So I applied, and they hit me back like, this is a great venture. And I was like, okay, cool. I went to the SGA cohort. Alnisa fell in love. I'm rich and famous.
Talk that. You hear me? All that talk. So look, we're going to walk it down. I want you to give us a little, tour of what we got going on, what you got coming up. But this whole setup, just talk us through it.
So this is the community canvas. I try to bring these to all of my events. And this just allows people to step into their creativity, show themselves some love. Brianna's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. I'm saying, y'all. So this is the community canvas. And I just want to be, invite people to be creative, to use their creativity. I think everyone is creative. And some people just don't really tap into it. So I use these to allow people to tap into it and just do them. This is the paint and little art brushes, our sign, community canvases. This is our event coming up in February. So, I just want y'all to come through. This is called Art of Love because we cater to creatives. So Art of Love is just a workshop where we're going to have an uncomfortable conversation. People, write statuses on Facebook, on Instagram, but I want us to be able to come together and share about it in person. We're going to be at Art Lit Lab in the gallery, so it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be brown, and, we're just going to be uncomfortable and comfortable at the same time.
Yeah, what pulled you to do that, though? What's your, your connection, your story of Art of Love? What's your reasoning behind all the Art of Love? Or what's your connection with love?
So, I think the older you get, the more you learn how to love yourself and teach people how to love you. And I'm just tapping into that. So I want other people to do the same. I think Art of Love is a great way of expressing your love. So I got on here self-love, relationship, sisterhood, brotherhood, mental health, and more. And I want people to be able to talk about these things. Honestly, what sparked it was seeing all my Facebook friends talk about how this dude ain't that, how they friends ain't this, how this is this and that's that. So I was just like, let's just come together and have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do.
For sure. I see you got some sign-ups and all that going.
Yeah.
People rocking with you. Tell me about
this is actually my first, setup. So I got an information sheet for people to sign up and learn more about alchemy. I just want to say, too, I created all these signs last night at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
So they look good to be,
last minute.
Real quick.
Do your thing.
This is just where people can learn more. Zoom in on this. This is sponsorships. So go ahead and scan that if you want to help us out. But yeah, if you want to learn more about us, we got pictures from previous events. Follow us on social media. And our slogan is, where melanated creatives thrive. And I just think it's important. At first, I wanted to build a network of creatives. But I'm like, if we're not thriving, how does the network work?
That's a fact.
So this right here is the positive note swap.
Which I did already.
Which he did. Yes, he did. And we just got people, they write.
Can I take one out?
Go ahead, read it.
Well, I got one in my pocket.
Yes.
I left one and I got one. All right, so this is the one I took. I was gonna say this, but I'm gonna do it on your lens. Hold on, what we got? This is my note. This for me. Love is seeing you for who you are. You see me? This is who I am. I'm gonna need y'all to see me for who I am. Not who you want me to be, but who I am. All right, come on, your turn. I'm gonna keep this. Come on, read it. It's mine.
I got just when you thought it was over, boom, a better version of you showed up and showed out. And that's me for real.
That's you?
That's me for real. Hit me up for furniture rentals and take a picture at the scenes.
Don't mind if I do. Give me. Oh, we in here together, gang. Yeah. And it's like that. Alchemy, let's work. It's a meetup when we link up. Hey, easy was the wins. Even when it was hard, we did it again.
Get my handout on the app. I have 4 handouts. I could not upload them.
Oh, I sent it directly to Elnisa.
Man, it's 2023, October 31st. We got Madison Nonprofit Day on Halloween.
It's one of the reasons why, like, I think we set up a poll that says how many people are going to be dressing up versus how many people who don't want to dress up, and and it determines like the level of frivolity, I guess, but yeah, like I think it's just. For me, it mostly means that we need to cut the day off at like around 3 p.m. as opposed to 6 p.m. like normal. Okay. Because people want to get home to their kids and take them out trick-or-treating and all of that other type of stuff. So
with this being number what?
I don't know.
For sure.
For 15.
So what's the difference, standout or similarities between this year's and other years of Madison Nonprofit Day?
So we're mostly comparing this year's to the return after COVID. For that, mostly just because we're shooting for and like got around like the same number of people through like I think we're at like 350, 355 people for that. Pre-COVID, if we look at like I think 2016, 2017. Even 2018, I want to say that we were getting like over 650 people, and we were trying to determine. It's like, do we want to keep increasing the size, or do we want to keep it at like that level?
Was it always here?
It's always been, well, I shouldn't say it's always been here, but it's been here for I think 9 or 10 years.
And when we say here, for the sake of the cameras, where are we right now?
Monona Terrace.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I think like the first 3 years were at the Goodman Community Center.
Okay.
And we ran out of
about growth.
Yeah, we ran out of space. Like I think the first year. Further, so like the second year we did a hybrid between the Goodman Community Center and Sector 67, which they weren't that far apart, but they were too far apart that people couldn't really get back and forth, and for that, and so we were like, okay, that's not going to really work. It's like we'll do one more because we didn't really know where to go, and then we'll take a year off and research some of the options, and we came to the terrace. Look at that view.
It's beautiful.
Right.
It's so beautiful. I'm looking at it now. I'm distracted in my questions. For real. So as far as like with Nonprofit Day, Madison, like why Madison? Why Nonprofit Day? Like what stood out for you to say, you know what? I'm going to create something that I'm going to be able to talk about 15 years later. Like why this?
I believe one, I was in Madison before, and I started the Lesbian Gay Campus Center there, and then I went off to San Francisco. And San Francisco just had like a number of nonprofit resources. There was like a nonprofit newspaper where people published almost all of their jobs in it, and I kind of took it for granted. Okay. And then I came back to Madison because I wanted to be around water, and people were like, obviously you're around an ocean in San Francisco. I'm like, but you have to go to the ocean. I live on like the Near East Side. I can walk anyway and see water. For that. But then when I got back, I was just kind of like, well, how does the nonprofit sector communicate with each other? And people were just like, we don't know. We've been still trying to figure that out 10 years for the last 10 years. And I'm just like, they're like, well, a couple big organizations are talking about creating something in like the next 5 years. And I'm just like, okay, I think I can create something in the next 5 weeks. And, right. And so I started the process in, I think, June or July of that year, and we did our first event in August of like that same year. The year itself, I don't remember, but it's been...
You know what I'm learning about you? No matter who I'm talking to, it could be Will Green, Brandy Grayson, anybody that's in these nonprofit spaces, they speak highly of Arnisa Allgood. Why is that? Why would you think that? you like the grandmother of. It's like nobody can mention like their success, they rise, like without mentioning your name. So like, what is it that you are offering like these other entities to make them just rave and feel the demand to show up here for you every year?
That's a good question. I like to think it's because I listen to them and I believe in them. For me, I see so many wonderful people of color, especially black women, but like women of color, and then anyone else who wants to do good in the world. And they're highly undervalued. And I'm just like, girl, I'm like, you're amazing. You have like 2 masters and 2 doctors and degrees, and you're like trying to like get more than like a $40,000 salary. Your salary should already be at like $90,000 or more, right? And like, you know, and it's like, it's just talk about a lot of like, I mean, we go over like very specific stuff, but like a lot of things are based off of like your value, believing in the value that you have, the fact that you want to create a community around you, a better community than that's what's already there.
Yes.
But also then just offering like insights and connectivity and stuff. I mean, I feel like a lot of our people, and I say like people who've gone through the Social Good Accelerator, other people who I've come into contact and stuff with, they're amazing, and sometimes it's just really having somebody say, you're amazing, you're doing great work, you know, keep doing it, or like don't get caught up in like, you know, somebody rejected you and things like that. It's like, you're gonna get a ton of rejections. I'm like, I get a ton of rejections, right? You know, but it's, I think just believing in them and getting them to believe in themselves,
Yes,
I would
thank
say.
you so much, Lisa. But in closing, I want to ask you this. What's some of the feedback you get from hosting this event from people that attend, some of the nonprofits that's like in here doing speaking events? I see Sagacia this year as the keynote speaker. Like, what is some of the feedback you get from this event?
I think we get pretty good feedback. I mean, both for the people that we introduce to other people, and I have to say, like, with the exception of Black conferences and things like that, we're one of the few general conferences where you can see so many people of color here and like on our speakers and things like that. And I'm always really proud of that because I see other conferences and I'm like, you're doing good things, but it's like the same list of white people.
That's a good point.
I mean, you know, for that, I mean, like, and that's not necessarily bad, but it means that you're not making an effort to try and include other good people, especially, you know, as you're talking about diversity. It's like, how do you know, I mean, my thought is like people create conferences around diversity that still lack diversity for it. I'm like, and they say, well, we can't do it. And I'm just like, it can be done. You know, it's like, look at our speakers, right? It's like a ton of like beautiful people of diverse backgrounds. And, you know, and you get insights into how other people work and operate that like, you know, like just a general white male accountant like or some type wouldn't have like the same insights about.
That's true.
You know, as like a woman accountant or a Black woman accountant or things like that. So we try to find them and persuade them to apply and submit our application.
Sure.
And sometimes just like, we want you, right? You know, and it's like, and people sometimes have never heard that before, like that they, you know, they've been submitted to conferences and things like that before, and they frequently have gotten denied, and like sometimes it's like occasionally we deny people because we're like, you're not ready. I mean, like, because we want people to not
Skin
just
in the
speak,
game, yeah.
like have skin in the game, but also just not speak to people. You know, like the entire session is like them talking, like
Yeah, that's right.
you know.
That's right.
So like that's not what the type of session that we want. We want sessions that are engaging, you know, and stuff like that. So sometimes people aren't ready for that, but I'm like, you can get ready for that.
Sure.
You know,
I kind of snuck in on our Sully ticket.
Yeah,
you know, so I don't know if I was ready, but I got ready. You hear me? That's the biggest fact. So like, anything as far as like next year that we should look forward to for this event? Maybe a big celebration year.
It might be a celebration year. I need to go back and look up like how long have we? It's like, have we been running 15 years? Is it actually 16 or 18? I'm like, because people look at me and I'm just like, I don't know. I look at 1 year at a time.
If it's 15, if it's 18, I wish you 15 to 18 more years. And after that, thank you so much for doing
Thank
it.
you.
And hosting this. Yeah. Right? It's like, why look outside of local opportunities when we right in your backyard?
So I feel like a lot of times organizations want to do things for a certain group of people without even communicating with any of them to know what they need or want. Because like you may feel like helping with a bowl of soup is helping, and I may feel like I need you to help watch these kids. So like what you're doing really the work of what the community needs that you're trying to serve, or is it your savior complex that's coming out?
Come on.
What need are we really trying to fill? Is it my need to show off that I am doing what I need to do in our community, or is it what the community needs? In other words.
Because a lot of times you'll see those partnerships where they're just posting the picture, look at what we did this, we checked that box, and then you never hear from them again. You either do the work or don't do it.
How do we do that work? Suggestions? I know there's I know there's a lot of people doing this work. Suggestions? How do we do that? Go ahead.
I think for me, when I am called on by these stakeholders, before I allow them to use my name or my logo, I do my checks and balances. And I tell them, these are the things that I recommend. And if these things are not done, then we will not be a part of the event. So I think just as Black and Latino people, we have to hold these people to the fire, because sometimes we're so like, we want to get out there, we want to put our face out there, like this is our moment when someone reaches out to you. And then it's like, don't be the guinea pig. And like we'll take, don't be tokenized. It's very much so tempting, but when you're doing the work for your people, it's so easy to say no. I'm not going to be a part of that, because I don't know, just for the community that I represent, they can't take those type of losses. They have to get real game, and they have to see themselves at the front. And so I think just as Black and Latino people, again, we have to make sure that we're holding these people to the fire. But if we're not being held accountable, it's easy to say yes.
Yeah. Exactly. And our own accountability is that we want to build consistency in our communities and close those wage gaps. That's why we fall into organization. But if we say no more, the money will come. If you keep saying yes, then you keep allowing people to put you to the fire and make a decision between money and really doing the work. That's why we stay there. Because you're powerful.
And one thing that I was just going to add to along those lines is that it's very important that you put money behind like what you're saying. So like don't expect Black and brown people to do this for free. You need to be paying them, making sure that it is like what you would pay any other vendor or any other person that comes, because it's important that there is that wage gap that you're talking about that needs to be closed, right? And so making sure that you are putting that money where your mouth is. So, yeah.
And have that conversation before you talk.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think also the follow-up. I think that we never think about how dangerous it is to put Black folks in spaces that they're not truly welcomed. And so the follow-up, like I've played the game for 20 years in Madison. And a lot of times now that I'm older, I'm always like, when I wake up the next day, I'm like, I'm hurt, I'm stressed. I was like targeted. The homophobia was real. It was so many racist people there, and this stakeholder goes on with their agendas and lives, and they should start actually coming back saying, how did you feel? And the debrief, it should be, what was your experience? And so I think that once we start sharing that, stakeholders will be at the planning table a little bit more strategic about how they approach us, because it's not safe to put folks in situations that is going to be more harmful. So like being on a flyer and doing the event is good, but it's damaging, and they need to be aware of that as well.
We do, because there are challenges of Latinos when working with Black communities, our own challenges is colorism, nationalism, stereotypes, tropes, does not understand or know the legacy of policing Black communities and doesn't know this and weaponizes it.
We oftentimes do, even within ourselves. Brianna and I went through an experience recently of this situation just, there was some static. There was definitely some static one night when we went out to a restaurant. That was a fact. And we saw it. And we saw it played out. I went to a Latino restaurant, and the whole policing and the tropes went right into our faces. Oh, yes. Yeah. And I'm a Latina there, too, going like, no. And there were other brown and Black folks coming in, and I'm telling you that it's real. So the damage that white racism does in our community isn't just from them to us, it's within each other that we oftentimes hold these things. Everything that I just said are things that as a Latina I have heard in my own community perpetuated against white folks.
Yeah. It goes back to what Clyde was saying too, just about being careful of your yeses, because man, it turns into like a template of how to. So you never know who following you, who looking up to your moves, what you got going on. But if you're leading them down the wrong road, or you're not doing this from a genuine place, we'll have a generation of failure, you know what I mean, in long term. So just be conscious of our collaborations, be conscious of how we word things when we targeting certain communities. All things do matter, and approaches definitely is one of them, So if anybody want to target their mission or some of their events or just their interest to working with Black and or Latino communities, I would just say do the work first, do the research first. The pay is always a big topic because it do matters and the data do show it. But resources are even more important too. Credit is a thing. Just sharing what you know more, really approaching this collaboration from a standpoint of real help and assistance and support.
Choose keynote speakers like us, choose folks that who are DACA students, who are undocumented, who have accents, who are darker, who you wouldn't have invited otherwise, who don't have the degrees, who come from lived experiences. If we start promoting and honoring those folks, we're gonna start legitimizing that all of us deserve an equal living wage. But when we don't, it's like, it's useless. Then we're all tokenized all over again. Do you all have any questions for us about resilience?
Good job. Hi, Char Smith. I am kind of working as a community manager for a company that probably would not, most people would probably not expect me to be in.
Right.
But I would also just encourage people, especially the nonprofit organizations, to just keep an open mind about stakeholders and organizations as a whole. I think one of the things that I'm experiencing in Madison as I learn more about our community and try to connect the money to the community and energy and things as such, I'm learning that another thing that really keeps a barrier for us is that if we don't know people, they tend not to want to work with each other. And I would really say, please keep an open mind. I'm in a space that maybe it feels like I shouldn't be in, but I'm in this space because I want to help Black and brown businesses. I want to help get Black and brown businesses to not only understanding what's going on with energy, renewables, and all of the things that's going on with Madison as your community energy company, but I also want to make sure businesses understand about all the money that small businesses, nonprofits, as such can also key into. So as I'm learning this role, I've only been in it for 4 months. I'm also finding barriers, which is my people alone and just wanting to meet with me and talk to me, may it be because of NGNE or whatnot, but at the end of the day, we're all working on a common goal. And I would just say,
so there's that community distrust is what you're feeling from
exactly.
from these major stakeholders in Madison already who have possibly tokenized us already. And I think what you're asking is the communities to retrust again.
Absolutely.
We got to reinvest. Y'all got to invest in
that's
us.
where I wanna be.
Got to invest in us too, though. So that's that healing that needs to happen, and we've experienced that with the Overture Center. Lilita G had a situation, she was racially discriminated against. That was just like literally a couple hundred yards from here, right? But how do we heal? How I go back there knowing that I can't, I might, whatever, my mom, Lilita's like somebody who I've known since my early 20s, like to know that she was attacked in a place where my tax dollars went to perpetuate and sustain that. Oh, it is hard. It's hard. It's hard because I'm going to be required to go back in there, and somehow I'm going to sustain them again. So that's hard healing. So we got to have that healing. And I hear what you're saying, that now that stakeholder relationship has been damaged or stretched in our community. How do we heal back from that? I think it's being authentic. It's being really authentic and real, and building resources.
We have to hold them responsible too.
Yeah.
Also, like even going with like the yeses and the nos. Like even with the no's that you say no to, you have to let them know why I said no. Yes. You have to hold them responsible. I said no because of this, and this is how you need to show up. So that means the next time another person may come to you, now you'll come to them different, and now you'll understand.
Can I just add something real fast?
Sure you can.
First of all money's not good money.
Say it again.
All money's not good money. That's the first thing I want to say. Secondly, if I have to keep coming back to you to explain to you how to treat me and the folks around me, I'm causing myself harm. So that's work that I'm investing in somebody who apparently doesn't care. And there's enough folks in this community that care. So those are my two pieces of advice. All money's not good money. And then secondly, you have to take care of yourself because there's so much work to be done. And some people just don't want to listen and they don't want to learn. And so then you just move forward. You have to find the people are in the community, right? The people that want to do the work and genuinely want to do the work, they're here. We just have to find them. And for me, the folks that don't, I don't have the time.
And then, like, just to piggyback off
Come
my
on.
girl Jazz.
Come on.
I love you.
Come on.
Just give us the check. Like, it's so easy to, the same way you Googled us, and I mean this, white men and women in this room that are part of stakeholders. It's so easy to find our address on Google and just send us a check. Like, you could just send us a check and stay out the way. Like, that's the easiest way to do it in 2023. Like, it's a new time and it's a new year. So if you're just like, we want to help Black
We do
folks.
Cash App too. You don't got to send no
not
check.
just
Cash App
Exactly.
too. Scan that QR code up there.
Like you
know.
want to call us in to do the work, we're already swamped in work. And so as much as we want to sometimes help valuable stakeholders grow their business and diversity in things, it's easier to just say, here's a $10,000 check from us to you, and just get out the way. Because that is help to us. And $10,000 moves. Yeah.
And the
So,
mission. 1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%. What's up, girl? Cavalier.
To interject about reporting back, if we're here in nonprofit world, really speaking candidly, reports are so difficult for those. I'm starting my own nonprofit of Midwest Mujeres, and having unfettered money is sometimes the best way. Please just trust in us. That first thing is trust. Gosh, that's we come back over and over to that, right?
Yeah.
Of building the trust in our community.
For sure.
So, any last words? Any questions for me?
There's an opportunity to learn more. I just wanted to make sure you mentioned that.
Yes, I'm putting out a handout for a 4-week class. It's going to be based on leadership's guide to unconscious bias, how to reframe bias, cultivate connections, and create high-performance teams. Okay? High-performance teams. This will be a hybrid class. It is for all of the beautiful white-led organizations that I've held over the years. This is my gift to help us all level up. I know you want this. I know you need this. You're serving communities of color. Let's get on the right track on this stuff.
Yeah, one thing I do want to add as well, we had that question up there. I want to encourage everybody in here to go on the WOVA app sometime throughout the day and just put some information inside there based off the question of like, what would your event look like if you was targeting Black and Latino communities for your individual event. It's going to help us based off of like just being able to see the different type of responses and how we possibly can reach out, connect. It's another reason for us to message each other. So like, let's take advantage of the WOVA app because they got us all in here, but we won't all get to speak to each other. But if we can get in there, we can do what Clyde was saying, which is follow up. And if y'all see us in the hallway, I definitely want to connect with more of y'all. I got this QR code or this like QR reader on the back of my phone. It's gonna give you my business card digitally, so you can contact me in multiple ways. And I would love to connect with each and every one of y'all. Way more for sitting through this hour with us, so we could turn y'all up and talk about partnerships and collaborations. Arceli is dope. Kilo is dope. Sultry is dope. All of y'all in here dope. Make a round of applause for all of us. Love, always love. So we sitting here with Will Green, a mentor and positive, one of the heaviest weights in the city of Madison, Wisconsin when it comes to service, when it comes to community, when it comes to engagement, when it comes to stand down. We talking 20 plus years in. Will Green, we over here at Madison Nonprofit Day. Man, how you doing today?
I'm good, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed. So what brought you out today?
Man, Madison Nonprofit Day, man. You know, Anissa and her team do a good job of bringing a good networking space and education around nonprofit, you know, so it's a good way to us showcase our mentoring program with youth and the products we sell and just, again, a good networking space, bro.
For sure. So how far you and Anissa go back?
Man,
what's your Anissa story that you can share with us?
Me and Anissa go back a good ways, man. Collaboration for good. Yeah, man, you know, I'm getting old, so it's kind of hard to think about how many years we really have been together. But it started way back, at least 10 years ago. Ran into Anissa, and so I just remember when she first started having Madison Nonprofit Day, didn't even know what it was. So it's just good to see the fruits of her labor coming together and bringing nonprofit and people together like that and giving the expertise in the different work sessions, you know, the different sessions that people can attend throughout the day. I got my staff here and they younger staff, so they getting some professional development and learning from people in the community. So it's been good, man. And Anissa is definitely a good collaborator. She is the collaborator of Madison, right? Like she's thinking about that all the time, how people collaborate. So.
For sure. What's your mission statement?
Man, mission statement is, we build true trust and relationships, you know, through mentoring, athletics, and social entrepreneurship. So we think about kids from a socio-emotional standpoint. So we don't care about, you know, the basketball, the jewelry, food making, all that stuff. That's great, but we really care about the person. So the person is the one that really makes the difference, because if you feed that one person a lot of skills, they can go do whatever they want to. So that's what it's about.
For sure. And what can people connect with you more outside of Nonprofit Day?
Yeah, man, Facebook is very active. Mentoring Positives on Facebook, www.mentoringpositives.org. You can catch us on the website. Chat with us on there so we can get right back to you. And LinkedIn, Will Green.
Where y'all located?
Man, we are located. We got a new location, 2844 East Wash.
Okay.
It's called, it's Mentoring Positives outside, but it's Muriel's Place. That's my mom, so it's in honor of her. And so, yeah, man, that's where we at. The old Ella's Deli, iconic site in Madison where the old Ella's Deli used to be. So Ella Apartment is there now. We got one of the biggest murals in the city on that building, and we're at the bottom of that space, 2,000 square feet. People can come dine in, 11 to 7, Monday through Thursday. So it's been good. We're working with the kids, and they learning new kitchen skills. So
congratulations,
that's life, transferable life skills.
No doubt. So like what you growing and getting bigger and bigger, how are you maintaining getting the word out, getting mentoring positive, staying in front of like the people that you need to support you and buy them products, man?
Oh yeah, man. You know, marketing is big, man, and so you got to always stay on people's mind. I think about it because the city is less than 300,000, and so here we are 19 years, and we still got a lot of people in the city that don't know who we are. So Social media is definitely a way that's, new wave of like letting people know. Word of mouth is definitely the number one uno of how people get to know who you are. And so, man, it's just constantly putting it out there and keeping people aware, and you have to constantly do that. So we've been fortunate to get funding from a foundation. So they actually was able to help us with our marketing plan and how to put that together. So that's been helpful for us, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man, much blessings,
Yes, sir.
more success,
Yes, sir,
and we're
bro.
going to be in touch.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you, Will.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So just
The new Uptown.
yeah, so like when you were saying like how can allies get involved, just basically we heard of bar cross where you go downtown and you get a group of individuals and you just go, bar crawling, bar hopping, you go to bar. So this one is more like when we say approaches matter, it goes back to the meeting and where they at. It's not asking them to change nothing to fit a description of satisfaction. It's more about, all right, well, I'm interested in partnering with the community more. What can I do? Some of the things that's already going on in the community would be a great place to start, which is where you would look. And it's just for example, this is some of the things that we have. Every month we would do these things. So it's like a walk-in Wednesday, similar to a bar crawl. We partner with Breeze Stevens Field, the Forward Club. What they wanted was what we was doing at a Cargo on East Wash, which is every second Saturday we get a group of artists, Soul Tree, Kilo, a gang of performing artists, R&B artists, right? They do a great job. But we received the email from Tristan over at the Forward Club, and he said, hey, I want what y'all doing down there at Cargo to bring it down here and do it at Forward Club, which is, in affiliation with Breeze. So that turned into us turning like happy hours. We do once a month or twice a month events there, but it's all about traffic flow, but they want to have some type of relationship with the hip hop and the black community. So this is more like their way of partnering without asking us to change. It's like, bring that over here so, people know it's welcoming. So the same thing goes with Cargo. Kilo created a relationship with Dana Perry, who's the manager at Cargo, and she wanted to do a residency where every second Saturday she wanted the artists to be able to come in, express themselves. It's a fundraiser show, but it's sustainable because it happens every month. People can look for it, they get excited about it, and you can create the logistics along the way. It don't always have to be cookie cuttered out. The opportunity is really like where you do the most creating in. So we just took advantage of that. And then the Burt Oak, this came through opportunity, which I believe being in headlines, newspapers, for Less Work fundraising, GoFundMe's, running a shop. So they would reach out, Burt Oak, and they would have like headliner people come through, and then they would want us to like host like either we would do open the acts, but then they gave us the opportunity to do our own show on a Wednesday. But all of it comes through just relationships, sharing resources. We provided some media equipment for one of their shows they had. So sometimes the partnership or the collaboration is not even like on the initial being set up. It's just more about a reach out. Can you do a favor for me? Can you do this? But it's about looking local first, looking your backyard first. It just may be more than what you need. And then we also host monthly music meetings every month. We partner with Quality CBD on Willie Street across from Willie Street Co-op. So every third Sunday, we would gather those same artists that we would put at Breeze, those same artists that we would put at Cargo Coffee, and we would put them all in a room like this, and we would talk about business. So it's not about performing and tap dancing on stage. It's more about understanding the business that you're getting involved in. So it makes partnerships and collaborations like what we would love to do here way more feasible when it's open, it's free, like majority of all the stuff that we would do, open to the public so then y'all can see how we operate from our standpoint, and then y'all can add y'all ways of how we could collaborate long term. But that's just how Less Work will make our approach to being local in the city of Madison.
For 2 years, I've been working in rural Dane County, specifically with the library. So my approach to diversity, equity, inclusion is museums, historical sites, and libraries. Why? Because they're publicly funded by our tax dollars.
Come on.
And that means everyone needs to be welcomed in there.
Come on.
And yet it's the most unutilized situation because people of color just don't either feel welcome when they're coming in. Their advertisement, their outreach doesn't show people of color utilizing public spaces like Heights, and I see a couple people.
Let's go. Who's
been taking over our natural spaces. So I've been like utilizing this and we talked a little bit about ambassador groups, right? And how do you start your own ambassador group for your event is by funding it. Again, getting the buy-in from leadership and having a budget line specifically for BIPOC vendors and outreach initiatives that include photography, videography, and food and meeting times and stipends for the women to either come and share. So I have worked specifically with Latino women in Superior and in Marshall. They have huge numbers of Latinos there living there, but they have no infrastructure that really supports Latino women in Superior or Latino families in Superior. They have one person that works from Century Spano that goes there, like one for all the over 200,000 people that live in both Superior and in Marshall. Yeah, one from Century Spano. I know, and it's just so hard. But how do we push that to their boards to start investing in getting more either bilingual folks, bicultural folks in there? It is by community organizing and ambassadorship. But we need to express the fact that Latinos, again, 55 cents to the dollar. And especially if you have so many other either immigrant or class issues that are very new from attending some of these meetings, what's an incentive? Well, maybe $50 so that you can go and have food for your kids who might be, you might have somebody babysitting them while you can do this little meeting without it. So you can have your input, because if I don't have your input, I'm not going to attract more people like you. I'm not going to have the words. Some words that we utilize in the chat in our in the app, from the WOBA app, that we were talking about, that often are used to either categorize or outreach to Black and Latino folks. It said minority.
Talk your stuff.
It said resiliency. I'm tired of being resilient. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. And we're going to talk about how we're going to rewrite some of those mission statements. But it starts there. Yes, you'll have an organizational mission that maybe you can't influence because, it's an organizational mission. But you can influence the mission of your events and your outreach. And start having mission statements in those movements so that they can continue for the next year. You can have buy-in for the next year. Maybe you do start as a volunteer situation. But try to find other maybe stakeholders like Walmart. Maybe grab a couple gift cards from Walmart and you distribute it to your ambassadorship program. And that's what I've been doing with the libraries. And so now we have like health and wellness that is being shown. Minority women-led organizations are presenting as well on wellness and different cultural aspects like Day of the Dead. And we're having a Day of the Dead festival. And this is the first time that the second year that they've done it, but it was kind of the first time that they ever had the staff capacity, even within their own staff capacity at the Cemetery Library, which is very large. And we still didn't have the capacity, even though they had the will and the want. It took an outside organization to fund me to be able to impact these two organizations. So that's the creative collaboration. So they themselves didn't have the money, but they applied for a grant, an outside third-party grant, to fund me to help these other folks to bring them more diverse people into their fold. And that included training. So I've done in-house services with them. We've done different types of trainings on intersectionality, on how to equip their staff to portray a sense of belonging to their patrons. And that's for all frontline workers, because I do see quite a few representatives of folks who are representing the larger conglomerates that service our population. And if you have any kind of hands into front-facing interactions with our public, please reach out, reach in, please advocate for more diverse trainings in your organization, because that's where it starts. You might feel like you can't influence that mission or you can't influence the leadership. There are ways from within and without, as Brianna was saying.
For sure, for sure.
And these were the mission statements. So I asked everybody in our in the app, write a mission statement for your event that will attract.
I'm gonna start from the bottom.
Yeah,
right
let's
here.
do that. Okay.
So one of the mission statements for the event says, a connection of people for the people that honors identities, culture, communities, and faith.
I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's about like being authentic versus like tokenizing, right? So like we want to like make that clear because it's not even always intentional when it's done. It's just sometimes safe, sometimes the easiest route to go, but it still needs to be called out for what it is. So I believe this is authentic, right? A connection to people for the people that honors identities, culture, community, and faith. It's not broad, it's not like direct enough to say for Black and Latinos, like you're not targeting that. But I did switch the wording. I think it said diverse at first. So like this was written for the diverse.
Yes.
But we want to be connected. We want to be direct.
Even diverse is a jargon, right? Even diversity, inclusion, equity, those are all jargon words. And I was hoping someone would push back on that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this mission statement came through to push back on that. One thing I like this too is that it shows kind of a little known fact about Black communities, the food.
Yeah, for us, by us.
That's how
Yeah.
food.
So like I think what that is more like
Not just a name brand and the names.
well, not I'm not even mention like the brand. I just more about the statement of like for us, by us. It's a sense of it like entitlement. You know what I mean? Like a sense of ownership. Like we did this for us. It was by us. It means something to us. So when you get this or receive this product or service, it's an extension of us. You know what I mean? So like that's what I get when I see for the people, for connection of the people for the people. So for the people, by the people. Shout out Urban Triage. You know what I mean? So it's like understanding that this was internally created to share externally, right? And I don't think it's about product pushing with this or like trying to get somebody to sign up for something. It's just understanding culture, understanding different identities, understanding different communities, and just being a part of instead of being like a director, you know?
Exactly, a part of. We celebrate the birthdays of all children regardless of their race or background. I think that we're there almost. We celebrate the birthdays of all children.
I don't know. I can't really speak to how people like. I don't know. That's for some. You know, I don't think it's meant with pressure. But certain people just don't recognize certain things for a lot of religious or lifestyle beliefs. So if you do, then you do. But if you don't, you don't.
Exactly. I wanted to say, I wanted to get back into, with that statement, it's like, how do you celebrate these birthdays?
Mm-hmm.
Get into the creativity of that birthday. Like, we celebrate birthdays with streamers, I don't know, something like that it celebrates the birthday actually. And like, how does that, like maybe something of like no child left behind. We celebrate birthdays for all children. We leave no one behind. We celebrate birthdays for all children. Something like that, because I get what they're trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
but by putting regardless on there, you feel that? Okay, good.
It's not wrong though.
It's not
just
wrong.
I think it was to be more inclusive, right?
It's an intent.
Again, it wasn't done intentional to like be offensive. I don't even take offense to
No,
it.
we don't take offense to it. We're
Yeah.
just saying to get there better.
Yeah.
And so if I, as a Latina mom, I have kids that celebrate birthdays all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I want to know how are you all celebrating birthdays for me to go and take my kid with you
Mm-hmm.
and celebrate my birthday with you.
I think regardless does the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It right away, yes, it does the opposite effect. And that's what we wanted to help you all with. Uniting, go ahead, Brian, your turn.
Uniting diverse voices, cultivating inclusion and mutual understanding. Join our transformative event. We didn't broke down some, like y'all done heard this. Anybody in here, like what does that mean? What does it stand out? How would y'all interpretate what I just read? Should I read it again?
I like mutual understanding. That's resonant.
That one. Yeah, that was probably the one part of this that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
That I really enjoyed. The rest kind of does feel a little bit jargony. The diverse voices, the cultivating inclusion,
Mm-hmm.
maybe just, we're uniting for a mutual understanding. Join our transformative event.
Yeah, but like, see, the jargon is that because of the space that we are in, which is nonprofit space. This is the language of, and this is the accepted language. Right. Yeah, I would still say it's a barrier in the sense of somebody like myself. I'm a for-profit business owner that work in Target nonprofit. because there is like an overlap, right? It's more like we target the same individuals, but for different reasons, right? It may be a lifestyle service or some type of product that you would have for as a nonprofit, or a resource that you can send me to as a nonprofit. But we target the same individuals, just in a different point of the day, night, maybe a certain fashion they would like to wear. But the collaboration comes from just having a one-stop shop to be able to communicate and supply resources for the individuals that we both target. So I wouldn't say the wording is off based off of the space that you operate in, but just be more inclusive when trying to partner with Black and Latino communities, because certain jargon or terminology can be a little intimidating, right? Or it makes it feel like this isn't the place for me, or I have to code switch to become where I want to be over here. And I don't agree with it. I'm going to be genuine everywhere I go, in every room that I'm in. But it's just more about understanding or understanding that this is the language of the nonprofit sector. So when we do see it, it's like, if I'm speaking to somebody like myself, what is a word that I could use in replacement of? So I can get the point across, but still not feel like I left somebody at a conversation based off terminology.
They'll see that and they're not going to relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to just shut it down. They're going to be like, okay, I know who the author is.
Mm-hmm.
The author is not for me. They're not of me. So that part there. Another misconception, Latinos all read in Spanish. No, we don't. Another misconception is that we're the fastest growing minority in the United States, or we're not. We are the largest, but the fastest is actually our Asian American race. Now, yeah. So things have changed in the last 20 years with Latino culture and Latinidad in our community, and what things were 20 years ago, where Spanish was more dominant in our community, it's the opposite now.
Yes.
So just trying to, making sure that too, some of us don't understand this jargon, and we'll, like he was saying, let's just not feel inclusive of that. But let me, for time's sake, should we have them get going on their activity?
Was it more so them developing the mission statement? Was they putting that inside the WOVA app, or was they doing it in?
Let's do that in pairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Creating the mission statement, what's that for?
So it's going to be like basic. Whatever. Like, y'all already do that. So y'all ain't really got to do too much of nothing different. It's just more about developing a mission statement for an event, not your like organization. Just like we finna do a Thanksgiving dinner, right? But we not just targeting Black families. We targeting Black and Latino, trying to like create a collaboration, right? Which y'all already do. But it's about wording, we trying to like not use jargon. We don't want to use stuff like underserviced, and we want to say what it is. So they read it and be like, okay, this for me.
So, and then my other thing is, I want to get a picture of the events. Where do we go to see the events that's happening?
Okay, hold on. Can I see that phone?
Think about it.
So can I put this information in your phone? I gave it to you before, didn't I?
What'd you say? No.
Yeah, turn your phone on real quick for me. So I'm just gonna put this on the top of it. This is an iPhone?
It's probably not updated, so it might not work.
I don't think it matters.
Don't judge me.
So no, I'm about to just show you what to do. So you're gonna go to connect though. But this all my stuff right here. So you'll be able to connect with me.
Hold on, do that to me.
But then put your information in here and I can send you all that stuff that's on the screen.
Oh, that's wrong.
I thought I gave it to you before.
No, you didn't.
My bad. Make sure you push connect though. Nuh-uh. I don't know, yours is a little different. Hold on. There we go. Yes, yes. You did it? Okay, so I'm gonna send it to you after we get up out of here. But I can put it back on the screen too, but I just think people want to read it. But we do every month. We do music concerts. We do photography like events with Kilo at Breeze, and then we do like The stuff at Quality CBD, it's a smoke shop. So people be in there touching clouds. So
when is the next Wednesday? What is it?
So not this Wednesday, but the next one. So we do it every other Wednesday. We did it last Wednesday, so we're gonna skip this one, and then we'll do it the Wednesday after that. But it's at Breeze. Y'all know where festival food at? Yeah. Y'all, it's right there, that big old field they play soccer at. It's a bar. Yeah, it's a bar on Mifflin Street. It's lit. Hey, no, we don't either. Yeah, we don't like to be called. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I know. Excuse me. Just wanted to compliment that hat. That's a nice hat there.
My daughter hates it, so I wear it as much as I can.
No, she got to get with the time. She don't know what's going on. You got the whole Woody look going on. You hear me? Yeah. Yeah. So Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, it's a good look. It's a good look. My name is Breon, too, by the way.
Nice to meet you. One more minute.
Yeah. I'm going to let y'all get back to it. I appreciate you.
And thank you for what you're doing. You know, I was listening, and I didn't want it to be a conversation between you and I, right? But I was like, you know what? But people have to understand also the beautiful connections and collaborations that you're making, right? It's not you have the space, and we're going to come in here and mold to your space, right? We're coming in here as our authentic self, and the only thing is you have the space.
That's it.
Right? So we come in here as black folks.
That's it.
And you just have the space.
That's right.
And look at it, black folks have the space, we wouldn't even need this. But that's right. Like,
You see what we're doing?
Yep, so that's the
See what
thing.
we're doing?
Yeah.
It's partner until you can purchase. That's the campaign model.
Yep.
So we're going to partner with everybody until we can purchase everything we would need to contract with ourselves.
Yep. And the beautiful thing, brother, by doing that, by the time that, right, you get ready to...
Relationships.
Yeah, that's
Relationships.
It. That's it.
Man, it's Madison Nonprofit Day 2023. Man, today is October 31st. It's Halloween. I got the privilege and the pleasure of standing here with Rock. Man, please tell the people about yourself a little bit.
I'm Rock Weatherby. I'm from Milwaukee, but I've been here in Madison for over 25 years. Do a lot of nonprofit. My mother, Annie Weatherby Flowers, the founder of Juneteenth Day, have done a lot with that and other collaborations in Madison. Right now, I'm working with the city with public health and bringing services to community that has been stricken with criminality and high crime rates, and also just bringing services into the community and helping healing people and moving forward and find solutions to all the issues and problems that we're having right now.
For sure. Speaking of services, sounds like you got your head focused on that. So what does it mean to be a nonprofit in Madison?
Well, I think being a nonprofit in Madison is kind of tough, but yet, you know, there's an actual area where it's needed. I think that the nonprofits fill a space where other major businesses cannot come into and make a bigger difference and impact on the people. But I think the nonprofit sector is definitely needed because it impacts our black and brown community, and it also makes sure that they have been seen and their voices are heard too.
Love. So what's your Arnisa All Good story? Like, what's your background on Arnisa? Like, what's something you can share with us that maybe most people don't know about Arnisa, or just a story that you got?
Well, I don't have one directly, but I just know her impact on the community, and then doing things like this, as well as working with people of color and making sure that they strive to move forward and make a bigger difference in the community. And I just want to tell her to keep up with her plight and pushing forward and making a bigger impact in Madison, and also in those communities where people are not being seen, and also making sure that their voices are heard.
For sure. She's creating a hub for nonprofits, for-profits, black-owned businesses, all businesses of all backgrounds. Like, and this is from my perception of it, this is her attempt of getting her word out about her message while helping other people do it. So, like, what are some of the ways and, like, we'll say mediums you guys are using to get your word out and your message across?
Well, I think most of the time the way that we do our way with projecting and getting our word out is through city meetings, city council, as well as connecting with the communities, talk about what their needs are, and also bringing those services to those communities to help those people flourish and also find solutions to be successful. I think a lot of the impact that we have is having NRTs and also meeting with people where they are to make that difference, and also hearing their voice and bringing those things and those resources back to the community to help them be, successful. I think you have to work through the community to make the impact. You just can't make it on your own. And by working with the community, you make a bigger difference by bringing those things that they need right then and there to be successful. So we could be supportive on the outside looking in, or yet we can get in and dive in with the community to make a bigger difference from the inside out.
For sure, for sure. So what's your direct message to the Black nonprofit community in Madison?
Never give up. Continue to push forward. It's a long journey, you know, and the duality of it is that you can see it from two different spectrums. And just to make sure that you don't get tired, and even when you are tired, just to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and keep pushing forward, because success is on the other side of the horizon. And I know from my experience, that's exactly what it is. And just keep moving forward and pushing yourself to make a bigger impact in those communities, and know that the younger people are looking at you and you're making a bigger difference on them than what you expected.
Thank you, Rock.
Yeah, I
appreciate the
it,
work
man.
you're doing.
Yeah, appreciate you too. Look forward to working with y'all in the future.
You know it.
Yeah.
We coming.
Peace and love.